Hi folks, Florida Man here. I'm appearing on camera rather than peering through images because this time I don't have a script. I just wanted to tell you what I consider to be my number one tool of the trade in terms of maybe maxims of deception, my number one secret as to how to lie convincingly in diplomacy. What I've found is that the best way to lie to someone in diplomacy is to believe what you're telling them at the time you tell it to them. Convince yourself that you are telling them the truth. Convince yourself that you really do want to ally with this person you're talking about allying with. Get really invested, get really interested in making plans with this person. Get really invested in the idea that you're discussing with someone. Get really invested in the negotiation that you're planning on violating. Really mean it when you're talking to another player, when you're making plans with them, when you're discussing your priorities with them. Even if you're misleading them because you've already calculated what you need to say in order to get them to do what you need them to do so that you can take their dots. You mean what you say, and you communicate as if you meant it because sincerity comes across. It comes across in writing, it comes across in person. There's a saying that if you can fake sincerity, you've got it made. In this case, actually convince yourself. Actually convince yourself. And maybe even keep your mind open to the possibility that you are telling the truth. But you should actually believe, in the moment that you're talking, that the thing you're telling the other person is the truth, the real, honest truth. That is how I think you tell a good lie. Because the average person might not be that good at telling when someone is lying. Diplomacy players might be a little bit better. I think there are tells that we all have when we're lying. But none of that stuff applies. You don't have any chance at all of telling that somebody's lying from the way they communicate if they actually believe they're telling you the truth. The only way you can figure out that that person was lying is, in retrospect, that what they were saying did not make the most logical sense, or that the things they were planning to do, according to what they told you, were not in their self-interest. But that is a rational evaluation of the communication with someone after the fact, and that will not dislodge the impression that you give someone with your communications of sincerity. So someone's logical mind might be able to figure out, no, that person must be lying to me, no matter how sincere they seemed, because rationally, I know it's not in his interest to help me. It's not in her interest to work with me here. But human beings are mostly emotional creatures. We are convinced much more readily by our feelings than by our reason as to what to believe. And in addition, diplomacy is frequently a fast-paced game. If you can manage to have that word with someone where you sincerely tell them that you intend to work with them, they might not have enough time to rationally pick that apart. And many people, even if they do have time, they will trust their gut. They will trust their intuition. They're not going to rationally pick apart what you said. And at certain stages of the game, it might be impossible for them to convincingly pick apart what you said. If in the early game you convincingly make plans to work with both of your neighbors, they will not be able to tell that you're being insincere just from the stuff you said to them if you actually meant it when you said it to them at all, because rationally you could potentially intend to work with either of them. So that is my tip for today. In order to lie in diplomacy, to lie effectively to people who are used to trying to see through deception, believe what you're saying. Be telling them what you believe at that moment is the truth. I hope you liked this video. And if so, please like and subscribe, do all the usual stuff that I ask you to do. Till next time, Florida Man, out.